everyone please rise? We'll have a salute to the flag.
Is it all right if I stand up now?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We sing one verse of America. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrims pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. We'll have a prayer by Assistant Chaplain Gloria Niski.
Good afternoon. Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless the members here and all our members not with us today. Watch over us as we go about our daily chores. Have mercy on all those who have been called to their eternal rest. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
We'll have a moment of silence for our departed members and the members of the armed forces that have died fighting for our way of life. Thank you. Okay, I have to give you all 30 seconds before I can start talking again. One thing. Before we get going, I want to say something. Last night, I was watching the football game. And the Jets were losing anyway, so I turned it. They had a timeout, so I went to the New Jersey News. That goes from 10 to 10:30. And 1 minute before the news ended, I got a shudder all of a sudden, and everything turned cold. And then I realized summer was over. So happy, welcome to the first day of fall. Okay. So also we have a speaker here, a member, and our mayor. He would like to talk to us and say a few things, let us know what happened over the summer and what some of the plans are for the city of Linden. So here we go. Mayor Gabutto.
Thank you, Steve. As Steve said, summer's over, so a lot of good things happened in this summer. And if you drive around the city, you'll see. You're going to see 2014 is going to be a good year, 2015 is going to be better, and 2016 is going to be a great year because all our developments are finally starting to come into fruition. Just to mention a few smaller developments, if you look at Stiles Street and Route 27, which is St. George's Avenue. For about four years or so, that was an ugly block with the Sunoco gas station vacant, with the Gulf gas station vacant, and with this Gold for Cash building vacant. And now we've starting to build it up. If you look now, the Gulf station is a 7-Eleven. That's going to be opening pretty soon. We gave site plan approval to the Sunoco station, which is going to be a Subway, and where the Gold store was, there's going to be a CVS. That's got site plan approval. So that's going to brighten up that dilapidated corner that's been terribly looking for 4 years. There's also, I've been talking to a developer, and this is in the early stages, but he wants to put a McDonald's on the property of Pathmark, to further back towards Pathmark. Again, that's something we're going to have to look closely at, see if it's going to be a detriment to the neighborhood or a positive for the city of Linden. But we're looking into that. I've passed out flyers for the Goethals Bridge. Although that's not going to make any money for us, it's going to be a very positive action for the people in the 8th Ward especially, who have experienced a lot of truck traffic going through their Park Avenue and their local streets, using the turnpike and using the Goethals Bridge. Going back about 2 years ago, I visited Drumthwacket and talked to the governor and was able to convince him to do something about that intersection where 278 meets 1 and 9. That's a very hazardous intersection. Over the past 10 years, we've had something like 146 accidents, and the reason being 278 West merges into the fast lanes of 1 and 9 South. And that's a hazard in itself. Besides, you have the U-turn for the Phillips 66 tank trucks that go into their facility, and there's a U-turn to go on 1 and 9 North. So the governor agreed with me, and what he did was attach the improvements of that intersection to the Port Authority's improvement, new Goethals Bridge. Port Authority's paying for a new Goethals Bridge, and if anybody's ever went over the old one, you know that's a dire need of a new bridge, and he's having the Port Authority pay for that intersection where 278 meets 1 and 9 South in Linden, so that what we're going to have is both northbound, you could enter and exit 278 heading towards the Goethals Bridge or Turnpike, and southbound you could exit 278 or enter it going to the Goethals Bridge and the Turnpike. Again, the benefit is going to be less traffic in the 8th Ward with all the trucks that go through that neighborhood. And it's not costing the state of New Jersey any money. It's attached to the Goethals Bridge money from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and it's going to improve the safety of that intersection. The one problem, like any other problem when it comes to development, is that there's going to be issues as they're building it. Right now, they're starting the building in Elizabeth, and they are going to be closing local streets in Elizabeth to the entrance to the Goethals Bridge. So what that means is that they're going to funnel all the traffic from Elizabeth onto 278 westbound. And then as you're driving down 278 westbound heading towards 1 and 9 South, in the middle of 278 east and westbound, they're going to have a temporary turnaround. And all that traffic's going to turn around with a temporary road and head eastbound back towards the Goethals Bridge. So it's going to be a bit of a mess and confusion for a little while until people get used to the new delays and the new construction in the area. But in the long run, it's going to work out great for the city of Linden. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. I passed out some flyers. Pardon? 4 years. Starting November 15th is when they're going to start having the turnaround. It's going to take 4 years for the entire bridge and all. They're still trying to figure out the proper turnarounds and all. They don't know. But it doesn't look like it's going to take many homes. Maybe the U-Haul, because there's plenty of land there. And then across the way is Infinium and the property there. So we don't anticipate taking many homes, but that's to be determined. But again, it's something we're going to have to put up with for 4 years, but it's going to definitely be a major improvement to the entire city of Linden. There'll be plenty of monitoring of it. There'll be plenty of warnings when the project starts. They're going to have message boards. They're going to be online. So you'll have more than enough notice. But if you don't have to travel in that area, I would recommend that you stay out of that area. But again, that's not anything that's going to be revenue generating, but it's something that's going to be a major improvement. But the other revenue generating issues we got going are really important. Everybody knows, they've seen Southwood Avenue, the development by Linwood Tavern there. That's going to be 176 units of apartments geared towards young professionals. Bob Sadowski, the councilman, and I have been working closely with George Capadagli, the builder. This is going to be quality apartments There's going to be parking underneath, ground level parking. It's going to be closed in. And once he finishes there, he's going to move across the street and have mixed use, the same type of facility with stores on the other side of the street. And when he finishes there, from Linden Avenue to the railroad trestle on both sides of the street, he's going to develop further. What we're striving for in the city is density housing around our train station. Transit Village, we've received Transit Village status. It took my administration 4 years to get it, but we finally received it. And the whole object of Transit Village status is to have density around your train station geared towards young professionals that use New Jersey Transit to go to work to Newark and New York. And when they come back from work, they're not going to want to cook supper. They're going to want quality restaurants and quality stores. And that's going to ignite an explosion on Wood Avenue, where we're going to get some quality restaurants and quality stores, where the developers are already talking to restaurateurs from New York City to bring them in on the other side of the street. That's not happening yet, but he's in talks with them. So again, that's the key, density housing around our train station. If you look on the other side by East and West Elizabeth Avenue, there's condominiums going up right behind the Linden Towers. That's Park Line Plaza. They are 48 condominiums were built, 47 of them are sold already. And they're flipping over to the other side with 48 more. Again, quality condominiums, I've seen them built, double 5/8 sheetrock, 6-inch walls on the outside and between units. It's a quality condominium. And funny, when we had the cutting and ribbon ceremony for the first 48, I'm making small talk with the people there, and one of the individuals that bought a condominium lived in Brooklyn, and he worked in Manhattan. And I says, "Why you live in Brooklyn? Why are you buying a condominium here in Linden?" He says, "Well, 2 reasons. Number one, the amount of money I'm paying for this condominium is far less than the amount of money I was paying to rent in Brooklyn." And he said, "Number 2, believe it or not, I could get on the New Jersey Transit train to New York City and be there faster than getting from Manhattan, Brooklyn to Manhattan." So that is the jewel that we have with our railroad station. That's a diamond in the rough, and we're starting to polish it. And again, that's going to give a whole new face to Wood Avenue. And of course, I've told you time again that we've got $1 million from the DOT to start beautifying around our train station. That's the only thing we could do, is beautify around our train station with that $1 million. And we're meeting next week with the engineers and the state to have that beautification program starting to move forward. So you're going to see a whole new look in another year or two around our train station, which is a positive, because all the planners that we've talked to say that the millennium generation does not want to move to the suburbs like previous generations. They want to stick around the cities. They want to hang around the New Jersey Transit so they can hop on trains. And this is the new trend. And again, we are well positioned as a city of Linden, because New York City is far too expensive. Jersey City is built out. Hoboken, forget about it. It's built out so much that you can't find a parking space. And Linden's right next down the line. Now, some people are resisting this change, but again, if you want to have a community that's not stagnant, you got to move with the times, and the times are dictating a new neighborhood around that train station, and that's Linden is ideally situated for that. Also, again, the concept of generating more revenue, and that's the whole idea. As everybody knows, we lost the General Motors, the DuPonts, the Tencos, the Gordon's Gin, the American Cyanamid, the GAFs, the ISPs. All that money's lost, and that's why we've been struggling financially recently. But I can guarantee you that in the next few years, all this revenue is going to start coming back in with the development. If you look at Linden Commons, that's on Route 1 and 9, just as you leave Rawway heading north, where Avenue C is. That's the old Kmart and Sears building. That building's been subdivided, and what they're gonna have there is a TJ Maxx, and then, by the way, November 3rd is the ribbon cutting for all this, so it's gonna happen sooner rather than later. They're gonna have a TJ Maxx, they're gonna have a Buffalo Wild Wings, they're gonna have a Sprint, they're gonna have a K Jewelers, they're gonna have a Blink, which is a fitness center, they're gonna have a Hitachi Grill, and then they're gonna have 2 other vacant stores which they anticipate renting. So again, there's more revenue coming into the city, and again, the more revenue that comes into the city from industry and business gives property tax relief to the residential homeowners. And that's what we need, more revenue coming into the city. Also, I always like to talk about my 800-pound gorillas. These are the heavy hitters. We have Duke, which is a development on the GM property, and we have Goodman Berkshire, which is developing on 143 acres of the old GAF property, now known as ISP. But before I get to them, I just want to tell you that last week I met with DuPont officials, and we got another 800-pound gorilla. DuPont is ready to go for development. They've been cleaned up. They have 3,000 linear feet of bulkhead space on the Arthur Kill, which in and of itself is very attractive for developers. And they are marketing their property as we speak, and they told me they intend to have that property sold by the end of the year to a developer. So again, there's in future revenues coming in from 98-acre development there. In regards to the old GAF property, 143 acres, we gave site plan approval to Goodman Berkshire. They're the 2nd largest reinvestment trust company in the world. They're coming in to the North American market. They want to break in, and the reason they want to break in is the raising of the Bayonne Bridge, the widening of the Panama Canal. Super container ships are going to move into Port Newark Elizabeth carrying 3 times the cargo of containers that they presently carry. Port Newark Elizabeth cannot handle that volume. They want those containers right off the ship onto rail or truck to their destination. Goodman Berkshire's purchased 143 acres from JAF. It's a $350 million project. $350 million that's going to give Linden 2,000 to 3,000 full-time jobs when they finally build out 5 major warehouses for distribution of these goods that come in via Port Newark Elizabeth. And the reason we are so lucky is we're only 3 miles away, and there's not many cities that are 3 miles away from Port Newark Elizabeth that have 143 acres to offer. Besides that, now we got the DuPont property in 98 acres. So again, Linden's situated in a very attractive area, and Goodman Berkshire is going to take advantage of it. And can you imagine when we get 2,000 or 3,000 full-time jobs, the multiplier effect of these people wanting to go to a restaurant to eat or get lunch or want to take their dry cleaning someplace or their car fixed? It just creates more jobs for us and more opportunity for business to continue to grow. They're moving ahead quickly. They want to start shoveling the dirt around by the beginning of next year. These are going to be 5 major warehouses. We're talking at least $5 to $6 million in revenue annually once it's built out. So that's going to be a major resource for us. Like I say, the DuPont property, you got to configure $5 to $6 million annually for that when it's built out. And General Motors, if you've seen the project moving along the industrial side along Linden Avenue and Pleasant Street, we're going to be cutting the ribbon next month sometime for the 500,000 square foot warehouse. It's a beautiful looking warehouse. They don't make warehouses like they used to anymore. The concept now is to make a warehouse and not have a corporate headquarters 10 miles away. to attach to each warehouse the corporate headquarters. So you got your lawyers, your clerks, and your warehouse people all working together in the same building. And that's why these warehouses now are not just four walls, they are more like a corporate park with landscaping and everything else. And if you go and take a look at the General Motors, the Duke Realty warehouse on Linden Avenue, you'll see that they got beautiful shrubs and it's well built and not just four walls. And of course on Pleasant Street, you're seeing another 144,000 square foot warehouse being built. Again, everything now is prefab. I don't know if you've seen it, but they bring in sides of the building and fabricate it as they bring in the sides, and it goes up extremely fast. Also, you see the front of the Duke property, which is the old General Motors property. They're doing a lot of infrastructure work for the retail commercial. Unfortunately, the bad news is that ShopRite for the third time has sued us in regards to Super Walmart. They're challenging us in the fact that we didn't go through the proper process for the 7 intersectional improvements that Duke has to make when they build the retail commercial. They're going to have to improve Pleasant Street, they're going to have to improve Stiles, and Linden, they're going to have to improve Stiles, and Route 1, they're going to have to improve Elizabeth and Stiles, and they're even going to go down to Blanky and Stiles. DOT approved all that. Again, that's contingent upon them building the retail commercial, and again, ShopRite sued us. Now this is the third lawsuit. The first 2 lawsuits we won. We went all the way to the New Jersey Supreme Court, and now this is the third one. And again, their logic, and I've said it time and time again, is to delay this project, and hopefully Super Walmart will fold their tent and go someplace else. And that disturbs me. That's why I tell people don't shop at ShopRite in Linden, because if that project was built tomorrow, we'd get $5 to $6 million from a development of 108 acres, and ShopRite's really hurting the taxpayers bad. And you look, McDonald's and Burger King, they build together. BJ's, Sam's, Costco's, they build together. You look at Walmart and not ShopRite, Rite Aid, they're right next to each other. This is Lowe's and Home Depot, they're next to each other. But again, ShopRite, which is a privately owned food store under the corporate veil of Wakefern. But Irv Glass owns that. He owns 9 other ShopRites, and he's just, he's obstinate with the fact that he's not going to let a Super Walmart challenge his ShopRite. And again, he's got the money to throw at us, and unfortunately, it's delaying this whole project and delaying tax revenue and tax relief to the residents of Linden. So consider that if you go into ShopRite. There's Pathmark and other ShopRites in Clark. They're good to us, and my recommendation is don't shop at ShopRite. So you see, there's quite a bit of activity going on in the city of Linden, and this activity is going to turn into tax dollars. And again, the whole concept is we need property tax relief for our residents, and Linden is starting to get a renaissance in that regard. And as the year progresses, you're going to see more and more development because once they see the development on Northwood Avenue and once they see Goodman Bircher coming in with their jobs, you're going to see more merchants and more stores and more commercial development coming into our city. So this is an exciting time. I'm excited about what's happening. I had 7 years of a struggle. I think I couldn't have been the mayor at the worst time, economic time in this country's history. We were in the greatest recession since the Great Depression. We were struggling. Developers are finally starting to loosen up with their money. And lastly, we got a conceptual design going on East St. George's Avenue, which is going to revitalize that whole neighborhood. The social justice complex. If everybody may not realize, but we own 2 square blocks of property from where the railroad tracks are to the Advanced Auto Store. We own the buildings there. They're going to be knocked down shortly. The only one we got to negotiate yet is the garage on the corner of Baltimore and St. George. And what we want to do is revitalize that neighborhood. There's a lot of empty lots in that neighborhood, both in the city of Linden and in the city of Roselle. And quite frankly, developers don't want to put their money in that neighborhood. It's an economically depressed minority business neighborhood, and they don't want to put their money in it. So my conceptual design, which I got support from the Department of Community Affairs, they sent a planning team to help the city of Linden out with absolutely no cost to the city of Linden. And they did a study, and what we would like to do is move our police headquarters up into that neighborhood. What we want is a public-private partnership building a social justice complex. What better way can you put a shot in the arm to a neighborhood that's struggling for development than to have a police headquarters right smack in the middle of it, with cops coming to and fro, having the court there. We're going to have the court there. You're going to have lawyers. They're going to need some place to have lunch or dinner or a cup of coffee. We've partnered with the city of Roselle because shared services is a good buzzword in Trenton, and maybe we could get some money from Trenton because of shared services. We're going to combine our courts. We're going to have separate courts, but we're going to combine the same space in the courtroom. We're going to have the same space for Office of Emergency Management with Roselle. And I'm trying to convince Mayor Holly, who's a strong supporter of this social justice complex and a good friend of mine, to also have dispatch joined with the city of Linden. Not the police department, but just dispatch. And again, that's a good buzzword for Trenton, which means money. And that's the whole concept, to try to make this as cheaply as possible a building, but yet get private partnership. Trinitas Hospital has agreed to have emergency care there, which again lower the cost of building the building. We're going to have United Way has been working with us for a family success center where we're going to have job training, we're going to have daycare, and other social services. So again, this public-private partnership is going to reduce the costs to the taxpayers of Linden, because we do need a new police headquarters. Our police headquarters is in the city hall. It's cramped, it's dirty, and it's not habitable really for our police officers.
When is this going to happen?
Well, I'd say 3 to 5 years. It's not going to happen tomorrow. Again, you gotta plan ahead. And what this is also going to benefit us is the fact that the old city hall, we have the nursing, our nursing people in the old city hall, the Board of Health and the nurses. We could close that building down, save on electricity, and move them to the vacated areas in City Hall that the police will be leaving and going to the Social Justice Center. So that's another benefit, besides just having a new police headquarters. But the real benefit is to give revitalizing this neighborhood, which will then again bring more property taxes to the city of Linden and give a better quality of life for that residents in that neighborhood who had a thriving business neighborhood going back about 25 or 30 years ago. If you remember, there was a bank, there was a movie theater, there was plenty of quality stores, and now I'm trying to talk to a bank because, again, what better place to have a bank right next to a police headquarters for security, and again, much needed in the neighborhood. So again, this is something that's really, in my opinion, going to be a great asset to the city of Linden. It's going to take a little time. And again, the more private partnerships we get, the lower the cost of the building. And by the way, we went, and another advantage was when we partnered with the Department of Community Affairs and the planning team, they took us to the New Jersey Institute of Technology, where they had about 12 different students draw up conceptual designs of these buildings, so that once we hire an architect, he's got a groundwork of about 12 different designs, and these young students really outdid themselves with the designs of the different buildings and how beautiful it was. So again, the point I'm trying to make is Linden is not stagnant. It took a while for us to get moving, but then again, when people are putting in $350 million or $47 million like in Southwood Avenue, they want to dot their I's and cross their T's, and they're not going to just happen to get into a contract overnight. So a lot of good things are happening. Stick around. I guarantee you that in the next couple of years, you're going to see property taxes stabilize, and we're going to get back to the old Linden where we had lower property taxes. Any questions? I'm sure that, yes?
When you're going to move the court and everything into the new building, how are you going to utilize the top floor in any way?
What top floor?
And where the court is now, the police are downstairs. Upstairs, what are they going to do with that level if they're going to?
Well, that's why I say we're going to use that for the nursing and the Board of Health.
Okay.
Our social services, Mary Ellen Tango, she's in the basement of the old City Hall, where she's right next to jail cells that we used to have in the old City Hall. It's really terrible, and that's where our recreation department is too. So we're going to move all of them into that vacated places.
Now I have another question.
Sure.
You're talking about people going to the ShopRite in Linden.
Yes.
Right now, Lou's got Jeff's job all week because he's away. He takes people with the senior bus to the ShopRite. He's questioned you on this a while back. Why can't the bus go to Clark? Because the people don't want to go there? Who's the boss, the people or the higher ups?
Well,
Why
again-
can't you just say, we're going there, get on the bus. If you don't want to go, don't get on. They want their food, they will get on that bus and go to Clark.
I hear what you're saying, Mary Ann, and you're right to a certain extent, but government's here to serve the people. And when I tried to do that originally about 2 years ago, I caught holy hell from the residents in the senior citizen buildings, Borowski Towers, Gregorio Towers, and Ferguson Towers, because they wanted to go to ShopRite in Linden. I tried to convince them otherwise, but they were adamant. And again, who am I to say you're going to go someplace else? I just felt, as much as it hurts the city of Linden, I couldn't force these people and say, you're not going there. I understand, and it's a thorn in my side. I understand that. And maybe what I'll do is try to approach them again and see if they'll cooperate.
I have a question on all of your programs and things coming into Linden.
Yes,
As they're being developed, which will we get a lot more income coming in?
that's the whole concept of it.
Okay, but you never mentioned what it's going to cost, what expenses it's going to be to the residents. You can't bring all this stuff in and tell us there's no expense.
Well, I really don't think there's going to be much of an expense because we got a large police department, we got a large fire department.
But you're bringing in all of these condos and these apartment buildings. We're talking about 20, 30,000 more maybe people coming in.
Well,
You're going to tell me you don't need a bigger staff?
I don't think there's going to be 20 or 30,000. Again, the concept is to draw more revenue in and spend less, and that's what we're doing. If 176 young professionals are living in that building, they're not going to demand the services that families demand when they move into a two-family house, because it costs the city of Linden $14,000 a child to educate them. That's why we're building condominiums for young professionals. We won't have to educate children because they won't be having families in there. They'll be having young professionals. And again,
Professionals will have families.
now the apartments are not designed for families.
What are they, one bedroom apartment?
Yeah, most of them are one bedroom. There's only going to be about 15% two-bedroom, and that's for two guys that live together or two girls that live together.
You can also have children in the house.
It's not going to be convenient for them once they have children. That's the whole design.
Why would it be convenient for them?
Because if you only got one bedroom or two bedrooms and you got two kids and a husband and wife, it's going to be too cramped. This is not going to be a major wide area. Again, it's geared towards young professionals, so you're going to have a smaller living room, you're going to have a smaller kitchen. Okay, well, again, you're entitled to disagree, but that's the whole concept. Again, you'll have minimum expenses. Again, the fire department's there, the police department's there. Yes, Chuck. I can't see you on the side. I'm looking out there.
What's the projected cost of the social justice complex again?
Yeah, the projected cost based on the Department of Community Affairs study was $24 million. But with the Trinitas Emergicare and the City of Roselle tagging along, it's down to $16 million for the City of Linden. And if again, if we get a bank, that'll be even bring it down less. And again, that's the whole concept. The more private enterprise you got in, the cheaper it's going to be for the City of Linden. But again, if you float $16 million in bonds over 25 years, it's going to be about $1 million a year for interest and principal at $16 million.
Go ahead.
The question was, with the new tenants coming in with the high density housing, will the sewer system and water system handle it? And if you noticed, there was a lot of construction from the water company right down the middle of Wood Avenue, and they went from the highway, they're going all the way down to the Turnpike Bridge. They're putting in new water mains and systems. So to answer your question, yes, the water will handle it, and the Linden Roselle Sewerage Authority has a tremendous amount of capacity that's unused. The reason being the General Motors, the Cyanomids, the DuPonts, the Tencos, all are gone, and that Linden Roselle Sewerage Authority was geared to take all their waste. So our sewers could handle it.
But the thing is, will the city, like the streets right there, will those sewers be able to handle?
Well, there's two sewers. There's storm sewers and there's, well, with number one, when you build a new building nowadays, you have to have stormwater management plan. The DEP requires a stormwater management plan, which means that when you build that new building, you cannot have any more water going into the system, sewers, or the streets than that is existing already. So you got to have, in fact, they even require less water going in. So you got to have it approved by the DEP when you build a building under their stormwater management permits to make sure that you're not throwing extra water into the premises of public areas. Yeah, Mary.
Park Avenue.
Yes.
The 8th Ward.
Pardon?
Park Avenue, the 8th Ward.
Yes.
All the way down. There was where the old Park Plastics used to be.
Yes.
That building is a total disaster in that area. Has anything ever been
Yes.
questioned to do something with that? It's horrible. I don't live there. I used to live in the 8th Ward. It's a horrible building.
I agree.
Awful.
What we were going to do was condemn that building and knock it down as a health hazard, but before we were able to do that, somebody picked up the tax lien on that building. And they are paying the taxes on that building quarterly, and in 2 years, they got to make a determination whether they're going to develop that property or not. So at this point, we can't do nothing. Yeah, Frank.
In relationship to the ShopRite property, has the city ever decided to go to the state to get some help or relief of the pressure? For this reason, the state, as you know, is giving away, just to get this business into the state, they take away a lot of tax money that we get. But if we could prove to them that because of their reluctance to let us build, look at the jobs that we could create and the tax. Why couldn't we put that pressure onto the state and show it to them that way? Maybe we can get some relief.
Again, the state cannot stop litigation. This is litigation, and they're, from what I'm told, they're entitled to litigate as long as the courts accept their litigation. Now, Frank, what we're doing next week is having a meeting. I've asked for a meeting with the lawyers of the city and the lawyers of Duke Realty, who's the developer of the GM property, because again, I think it's time we get aggressive towards ShopRite. And there's got to be something in the law about frivolous lawsuits like ShopRite's doing. And it's time to go on the offensive with them, in my opinion. But I just want to clarify one thing. All this litigation with the Duke property is not costing the city of Linden any money. Duke is footing the bill. So it's not a money detriment to the taxpayers. It's Duke that's paying all the lawyer fees and all. But again, it hurts us because we could have had that whole retail built already. Yes.
You talk about the 278 merge onto one.
Yes.
Whatever happened to that industrial trunk between the turnpike down into Tremley? There was a road planned.
Oh, you're talking about the connector road.
Correct.
Connector road from exit 12?
Yeah.
Exit 12 onto Tremley Point.
Right.
There's bad news there. It took my administration 4 years to get an environmental assessment, which is what the EPA has to approve and the DEP has to approve, because this bridge, which was going, it's been in conceptual design since 1994, when we were going to have that hazardous waste incinerator, if everybody remembers. And this bridge was going from exit 12 across the Rollway River and into Tremley Point Road. What occurred was that we worked hard for 4 years. We got an environmental assessment, which is a requirement because they put the footings, they got to put the footings into the Rollway River, yes, and for the holding up the bridge. And so then we go running off to the Turnpike Authority, because this is going to be an extension of the Turnpike. And they had, for the last 4 years, $114 million in their capital budget being appropriated for that bridge. So here, myself and a few other people happy as heck now, because we jumped a major hurdle with this environmental assessment over 4 years. We get down to the Turnpike, and the Turnpike says we got no money left. They said we spent it on around exit 8A, and we spent it on Egg Harbor Bridge, which is a major evacuation route for the shore. They pulled the rug right from out from under us. I said, you know, here we broke our backs for 4 years trying to get this environmental assessment. We got it, and now you guys pull the rug right out from under us. Well, that's the bad news, but the good news is that Senator Scuteri, I just talked to him yesterday, he's chairman of the Transportation Committee in New Jersey, and he appoints individuals on that Transportation Committee, and he's been raising heck with them individuals about them pulling the rug out from under us. And if you notice, Jamie Foxx now is the new Department of Transportation chairman, and he had to sit down with Jamie Foxx and told him that he wants that $114 million back in the budget for this connector road. And so the bottom line is, now we've lost in the planning process, but we're working politically to twist arms to get that money back. Nothing goes smooth. I tell you, this is the city of Linden. Nothing goes smooth.
What happened to Wawa?
Thanks ShopRite, they're still suing us.
Really?
They're suing us for Wawa, even though it has no impact on ShopRite, but it's part of the Duke Realty development, so they're going to make life hard for Duke Realty until they discourage Super Walmart from siting there.
Wasn't there something that should have been around Sonic?
I was asked about a Golden Corral and Sonic. We're talking about the Wawa is going to be between Pleasant Street and the railroad trestle, the two parking lots. What you're talking about is once they have the two anchor stores, which is going to be Super Walmart, and they're talking to Lowe's, but they haven't confirmed anything. Once they have the 2 anchor stores, they're going to have 2 sub-anchor stores, and they're going to have 8 what they call out stores. And although they got letters of intent, it's not a legal contract, they got letters of intent with Sonic, with Golden Corral, and I forget a couple of other stores as the out stores. But again, it's only letters of intent, and nobody wants to build until the 2 anchor stores are there to draw the people in. So that's the whole ShopRite mess, and it is a mess.
So our taxes are going to keep going up until all of this revenue starts materializing?
Well, what we're trying to do is hold down the taxes as much as we can until we get more revenue. Again, once the development is completely developed on Duke, you're talking about 5 to 6 million. Goodman Berkshire, you're talking about 5 to 6 million. DuPont's got to be a $5 million development. So that's all the revenue that's going to come in to offset property taxes that are right now being funneled by the residents. But I just want to make one thing perfectly clear, is that I, as your mayor, and I've tried to take over the budget process, but I, as your mayor, on this form of government, I cannot propose a budget, I cannot veto a budget, I can't vote on a budget. That's all done by councilmatic committee. 3 part-time council persons formulate your budget. I have volunteered to run the budget, but have gotten no response from the governing body in that regard. I want to run the city like Congress is run and like the state of New Jersey's run. The president proposes a budget, the governor proposes a budget, then it's funneled down to Congress and the state legislature, and they either accept it or modify it or ratify it. So that's the way it should be, a separation of powers, but under our form of government, that's not the way it is. It's part-time people who decide on a $100 million budget, and I'm sorry, but no disrespect to the governing body, but a part-time person has no concept of what's going on in the city of Linden. I'm here 12, 14 hours a day. I know what's going on. And I volunteer to do the budget, but they've never taken me up on it.
Is this on the same roadway as your other towns?
There's other forms of government. The Faulkner Act is different. We're not under the Faulkner Act. The Faulkner Act allows, if we were under the Faulkner Act, it would allow the mayor to propose a budget and then bring it to council, and either they accept it by a majority vote or modify it by 2/3 majority. But that doesn't happen here. Again, the committee, the 3-member committee proposes the budget, and council votes on it. Like I say, I can't even veto it. But I get blamed for it all. I tried to change it a year ago. A lot of people signed a petition. I wanted it on for the November election for referendum, but quite honestly, I fell short 2,000 votes. I needed 4,000. I fell short 2,000. That doesn't mean I can't continue to petition, but I can't bring it on the November ballot.
They can't put it even as a question?
You need 4,000 signatures to put it on the ballot. Any other questions? Again, one more.
Is there a tenant in place for the warehouses that they just finished?
Well, they are building on speculation, but Goodman Berkshire has a Fortune 500 corporation that's very interested in one of the buildings. They won't tell me. They have a confidentiality agreement. They won't tell me. They did tell me who it is. I'm sorry, but I can't divulge it. But there's a lot of also brick and mortar stores now that want to get into e-commerce, where you could buy, over e-commerce from the regular stores, and that's a trend that's happening. And again, with all these goods coming into Port Newark Elizabeth, these guys, if they're building $350 million complex, they know something. They know that those buildings are going to get filled. That's for darn sure. All right, everyone, I thank you for being attentive. I hope I gave you some information. And stick around. Linden's going to go back to the old glory days.
Thank you, Mayor. It's very interesting, wasn't it? Now remember, all you seniors, stay healthy because this is all going to happen in 3 to 5 years. Okay, sounds good anyway. Hey, we get our taxes down anyway, right? Okay, yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yes, another appointment to go to, so you have to get that going. Okay, we'll get on. We'll get on with our meeting. As I said, it's today is a social, so we're not going through it. No, we're gonna have goodies every week, not a social every week. Let me explain it. The first and third Thursday is still a business, but we will have goodies. Okay. Okay. Let me there's a few announcements before we have our refreshments. Tonight at 7:30 at the Promenade, there's what do you call it? The ABBA Girls, a tribute to ABBA tribute show. Okay. And then Friday night, again at the Promenade, at 7:30, there's a comedy and magic show. So that sounds pretty good, okay? And Saturday, September 27th, we have our September to Remember right on whatever. And that's always good. We have a lot of vendors there and an awful lot of, there's a car show there, and many, a lot of food vendors and things of this sort. So it's always good. If you can make it, stop by. And that's from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Okay? And so it usually goes from one school all the way down to Elizabeth Avenue. So that's this Saturday, it's the 27th, right? So you can make that. Now next Tuesday, again at the Promenade, from 4 to 7 is fire prevention night. So I guess the fire department will put on a demonstrations and things of this sort. So it's interesting to go to that. And then right after that, it'll be the last show of the season at 7:30 is, they call it Damn the Torpedoes. It's a Tom Perry tribute show. Tom Petty, yeah. So that should be good, and that'll be the last show of the season at the Promenade. Okay, next Wednesday, well, next Tuesday we have our meeting yet. And again, it's another social again because it's the 5th Tuesday of the month. But also it's a very special meeting because it's Art Close's 98th birthday. So Art Close will celebrate his 98th birthday next Tuesday. A birthday cake for him. 98, you're a young kid. So he says next, he can't wait till next year when it's 99, he'll turn it upside down and be 66, right? Okay, then October already. October 9th, Bobby is running a trip to the Taj, if they're still open. And for the Trumley Point seniors, and that too is it's $25 and you get $30 back in slot play. So if anyone would like to go, you still have some tickets open, don't you, Bobby? You got tickets open yet? Seats open? Okay. So if anyone would like to go, you know. Yes. No. Oktoberfest, it was Doolin's, I said we're going to Doolin's, didn't I? Oh no, I didn't, I jumped it, okay. Jeez, good thing, I did on purpose, so you know. Okay, I started out, October, the meeting is Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're going to Oktoberfest at Dolan's. I have one ticket left. I had the full bus and I had a couple of cancellations, so I still got one ticket left. And it's $50, so if anyone would still like to go. Yes. Okay. I got, now, anybody would like to go yet, I'll put you on the waiting list because between now and next week, we're seniors, you know, we get sick. So if anyone would still like to go, let me know. One thing, they just called me about an hour ago, and I thought it was a family style dinner, but they says no, they want to know what menu you want, okay? So hold on a second.
So we tell them to call him.
Okay, so anyone that's going, before you go, if you're here, let me know, okay? Because then otherwise I have to give you a phone call. The choice menu is, again, it's Oktoberfest. It's sauerbraten, chicken Kiev, is it they call it? Chicken Kiev or flounder franchise. Okay? Sauerbraten, chicken Kiev or flounder franchise. So before we leave, let me know if you're signed up and all. Let me know what you want, and I can write it down because they want me to give a call back. Okay? Okay. Did I do good? Let's go. We got a lot of things going in the fall here. Tickets, ladies. Now Monday, October 20th, is a Taste of Linden. It's going to be right here again at 6 to 8 p.m. It's $15 for adults, $10 for children 12 and under. And it's sponsored by the Kiwanis Club. Now this is, I guess, about the third year they're having it. It was very successful. Second? Second. Whatever, okay. It was very successful last year too. We had a lot of vendors here, so I'd say if you get here early, you're going to be on a long line too. But it was throughout the whole time. It was crowded with a lot of people. But the vendors had plenty of food, and you get to taste a lot. I don't know how many vendors they're going to have this year, but there's an awful lot they had last year. And they're restaurants from Linden, so it's always good to. Now here, that's. I mentioned the donation, $15 a ticket. And then they have a 50-50 raffle and things of the sort, okay? And our Vice President, Chuck Florio, he's in charge, right? He is now. Okay, we're going into October. We got October 20th, October 23rd. Linden Chamber of Commerce is their 6th annual Oktoberfest. And that's not here, it's going to be at the Deutsche Club in Clark there. That's Thursday, October 23rd, 5:30 to 9:30. And this is, let's see what we got here. It's $35 in advance and $40 at the door. And this is all inclusive. They have food, beer, wine, soda, prizes, and fun. So that's pretty good, you know, you get... No, you won't pay anything extra. You get the dancing, the food, and the beer, and everything else. So it's Oktoberfest, which is always a good time. Holy cow, we're moving out fast. Thursday, this is a little too soon already, but I got these announcements here. November 13th, the Linden Lions Club has an annual pasta dinner at the Linden Ambulance Corps. The squad, the old Linden Ambulance building there. That's 5 to 7. It's $12 for adults and $6 for children under 12. And again, we'll talk about that a lot more before it comes. But that's always a pretty well crowded area too. Now, for the rest of our trips for the luncheon trips for the rest of the year, you know that the city of Linden Recreation Department, they donate the buses to us, and we pay for the dinner shows. So we still have the one we're doing next week. Then tickets on sale for the Royal Manor, which is November 12th. That's Lucy and Desi at the Club Balboa, okay? Which was for the Lakeside Manor, November 5th, I remember, I told you, initially I had a schedule for November 5th with a different group, and then we transferred it, we changed it, so it was November 12th. But that, it was $56, now it's only $49. But I got a lot of checks for $56 already. So well, if you're gonna send me a check, it's $49, okay? I don't want to be refunded too much, okay? Okay, now, and also, and I'm selling those tickets now already too. Tickets for 100 in Hills on Friday, December 19th, the Christmas show, that's $62. Again, I'm taking tickets for that too. But if you send me checks, send me a check for each individual show. No one check for both shows, okay? Each show. So Evelyn Marcione, who is a member of the Trembling Point Seniors, you'll be running the trips, and I'll help you out. I'll work along with you. So both of us will be working on that trip. She had a trip going to La Neves, on December 3rd, and that's featuring Holiday Magic. It says a great holiday party for all, okay? Baked muffins, bread, full course luncheon, and 2 complimentary cocktails. And that's $49. This is where it's just going for the 2 complimentary cocktails, right? So if anyone wants to go to that, give Evelyn a call or myself, and then we'll work together and get that going, because Anita can't handle it anymore, she says, okay? So that, we'll be selling tickets for that already too, because Christmas shows always sell them fast.
I'll find out.
Yes? Okay, Evan says that the Trembling Point Senior Group is having their Tricky Tray on October the 20th, okay? Doors open at 12, and they always have a good affair that's going to, October 20th, that is.
I'll find out what that's.
Pardon me? Oh, okay, yeah, sounds good. Okay, that's enough. We're going into December already. We want to say Happy New Year yet. And it's good to see you all back here. I said before, George Petrowski, who was our Sergeant at Arms, he's back after so many months, great to see you back. You're looking good. And we thank Pat for taking care of you and straightening you out, right? And all of you that are, haven't been around for a while, we're good to see you. I see Carl and Audrey haven't been around for a while too. Good to see them today. Okay. Any new members today? No new members. You see any men hanging? You cold? I said summer's over. It's fall today. First day of fall. Put your long johns on. Okay, no new members. How about any birthdays? Any birthdays this week? Oh man, look at them all. Wow, everybody. One. Who's over there? Just stand up. Henry, your birthday today? Oh, push him away. Okay, we got two men and 2 women. How about that? Even this time. Okay, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear member. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Hope you see. How about any anniversaries? Anybody have any anniversaries? No anniversaries this week? No? We talked about birthdays. Remember, next week, don't miss it. Artie's going to be 98. Okay, next week is September 30th. That's our meeting. Okay, we'll have Share the Wealth. And remember, don't throw your tickets away after we come up with, because we'll have, I know we're going to have some donuts left over. Okay, ready? What do you have? We have 6 $20 prizes. Okay, last 4 numbers. 7217. 7217. We got a winner there? Next number is 7099. Marion. Next number is 6902. Okay, next number is 7292. 7292, that might be the mayor's, no? Next number is 7188. 7188. Seal. Okay. Before I call up the last number, remember, don't throw your tickets away because we'll have donuts left over. As what I mentioned last week, some of you weren't here. If anyone is handicapped and can't get to up, someone at their table should get it for them. We actually get it, okay? And not until your table is called. When your table is called and there's someone sitting at your table that can't get up, will somebody please at the table help them out, okay? Good. Last one, 72896, I'm sorry, 7296. Two people with their hands up, okay. Oh, okay, one thing, while they're getting ready, there's a few things I forgot. Flu shots, okay? If anyone, you know, the Linden website has been changed and a lot more information on it than it has been before. If anyone has a computer on the Linden website, it's they give you a lot of information there now. And the Linden Board of Health is there. Please. The Linden Board of Health is taking names for flu shots. You give them a call the Board of Health. They don't have a date set up yet, according to the website, but they're taking names, and then they will call you when it's time when they give the flu shots. Okay, so anybody want a flu shot, call the Linden Board of Education. A few weeks ago, we had the ones from a lot of these pharmacies are giving flu shots too. You just walk in there and you can get them too. St. George Family Pharmacy, they offered to come here and give flu shots. But when I asked, I only got about 6 people say they'd be interested, so it doesn't, he still want to come, but I says, no, it really doesn't pay. Okay. And another thing, watch out. Here's a couple things. I know last week I forgot to mention it. It was on last week's news. A Linden man lost $6,000 to burglars. Now, I don't know if you've all heard about that, but be aware because what happened is they came to the house acting as a, said, I don't know if they were saved for the water company or whatever. So they were working, what I understand, they were working next door, so they see something in his yard. So he came around the front. He walked around the back with him. In the meantime, he didn't lock the front door. Somebody else went up and he stole, yeah, they knew exactly, I don't know how they knew. $6,000 he had in a box, and So how they found it, I don't know. But again, one thing I says, you know, they found the box, but everybody hides things in certain areas where they don't think. These burglars know where you're going to hide it. That's the thing. It's in your freezer and here and everything else. They know that. And then this other one I see was an 80-year-old woman was scammed over the phone for $6,000. Please respond to West Curtis Street. That's what I asked. I asked you if you, thank God it wasn't you. But it said it was an 80-year-old woman, so you're much younger than 80 anyway. So. But here on September 11th, she received a phone call. Again, says that her grandson needed help. And I'm talking. At least my wife said leave it. Okay. But again, watch out for this because there's someone about where they call you, hey, your grandson is in trouble, send this check and all. So they scammed her out of $6,000. And it wasn't 3 times they did. So watch out for this. Okay, now that my wife wants to call the tables, that's it. That's all I got to say.